Well, looks like Doctor Who had to have a WTF moment after all that. Well, good morning. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, how would you say, quite disappointed in Doctor Who yesterday. This is just a quick review. It's my overall thoughts of it. It was, I don't know, I felt a bit let down last night with this, you know. Well, let's go back to the beginning of this series. Now, I have said on the podcast that every week I have enjoyed watching this, you know. I have to say, I haven't really found, all right, there's been one or two moments. But I did like the overall story. I like the thing of the Flux, tic-tac-toe, whatever she's called, the Doctor's mother, the organization that was interfering in the universe and big events. It was all sort of going somewhere. The space station in between two realities, merging one universe into a new one. I loved all that. I thought this is big. It's cosmic level, you know. And then you were jumping around with the stories with all the other characters in the other time zones. Him that built the tunnels, the scientist and the psychic. I even it was great seeing the Sontarans. Now, I did enjoy the Sontarans in this. It was nice to see them at the full villainous potential. The Weeping Angels episode, I thought they'd done wonders with it, especially when they were jumping through the TV. And it moved along very nicely, all these threads everywhere. And you were like, what the hell's going on? Moving quick, you know. Even Dan, the Scouser, I didn't mind him. I liked his his potential girlfriend he were going to start dating, and all of it were okay. And then they had to go do it, didn't they? Give us a WTF moment. See, I like the two outrageous villains in the first episode. Him that were trapped in a prison. I forgot the names now. I've ended up forgetting the names because it's irrelevant to me after last night's experience. Well, you got the two villains that were going around disintegrating people, and one of them were a human, and she changed into this alien Azor, and the other one. And they were trying to get to this place at the center of time or the universe or whatever. And we sort of we got an episode where the Doctor time traveled and she met a mother briefly who ran this big organization. And then suddenly, last night's episode came and it were like all that build up, all of it was just for nothing. It was like the Grand Serpent. What was the point of him? You know, I was expecting some big twist with him, you know, manipulating unit over the decades. And his agenda, and he ends up stepping through a door and he's on an asteroid in the middle of the universe. That all that planning and scheming with him were for nothing. You know, even when he was talking to the doctor, you know, she says basically you're a dictator, you're a standard baddie with the silly basic agenda, and that's it. You know, and he got taken care of, gone like that. All them episodes of him manipulating big events to what? And then we got the two main villains that were, you know, on atrophy or whatever, going around disintegrating people. You had the dude that sucks everything in. He just stood there, the place or whatever he were called. And it just ended up where, like, they rushed all the threads together. Everything was rushed to try and sort of resolve it. And then we got the fob watch mystery of the Doctor's other lives. And we were expecting something from this. And we got nothing, you know. And the two main villains, they ended up just being the pawn of another villain who was still trapped. And the whole thing of the Flux got sucked into one of them people, absorbed universes or whatever. And it just finished there. And then there was a moment where the Doctor denied the fob watch and hid it in the bowels of the TARDIS. Now, obviously, the future Doctor regeneration is tied into that fob watch. You know, it is tied into that fob watch. So when we got this, like, entity or the master of the other two, and he disintegrated them two. I mean, I was so annoyed that they were just a pair of henchmen, because I quite liked them in the outrageous clothes, and being evil, they were quite nice. Being evil, quite funny. And then they just got vaporized. They were just two henchmen. It was just completely pointless. And they were gone in like 5 minutes. So their whole agenda was over. Now, this Time Lord, or this thing in the future, which the Doctor's mother were controlling, you know, that were pointless. All, because that's gone now. It's just been wiped out. You know, the weeping angels all served and worked for. The dog, it was like at the end, we got the guy in from the space station and his girlfriend and the dog, they all stood together. It was like, could this be a spin-off TV series of adventures of them three? You know, by this time, it was nothing I'd seen before. And then we sort of got building, like, with a villain who took the Doctor's form and said, look, there'll be no more regenerations and your time's coming. But didn't we get this with Tennant in his character? You know, when the bells will strike. So, to be honest, I've watched this now, and I just really annoyed about it. I think I'm not going to knock this in. This has been the best series with Jodie Whittaker. But Chibnall screwed this up. He screwed this. It's quite disappointing, the ending last night. Now, some people are going to like it. You know, I didn't hate this episode. I was annoyed of its outcome. I thought for final series, I know we're getting the specials, but I was expecting something, you know, to salivate the teeth with this, and we got nothing. And that's why I was disappointed. But some people obviously will have really enjoyed it. Me, I did enjoy the last few episodes. I admit that it was really good. And then we got this last night. I said this on the podcast, that we're getting these sort of decent episodes. But what worries me is what happens when it all gets flushed down the toilet in the final episode. We get the great build-up, and again, we get the big disappointment. Now, maybe the New Year's Day special might save this. I know it's a big story arc to the Doctor's regeneration. I accept this, and this is one of the chapters within that. But quite disappointed for the outcome of this. So I'm just going to leave this as it is. I will be watching. I don't mean I'm going to switch off Doctor and walk away from it, because I'm still going to watch it. But since, you know, last two seasons, this has been the best of the last two seasons. But as far as I'm concerned, you just flush it down the toilet. You know, right? I will see you on the next video. Have a great week, and let me know your thoughts on Doctor Who. You know, I probably will watch it again. I could even change my mind. But I will be discussing this on the podcast on Wednesday. So tune in, guys, and stay safe, and Merry Christmas.